Pleased to bring you another video, which is a repeat of a show that I did on Blog Talk Radio. This one is from August 1st, 2010, and it features some interviews that I did with couples who have been married a minimum of 7 years and as long as 50 something years. And what I asked them was, what was the secret to success? What tips would they have for people who would like to have a marriage that lasts that long? And to try to help some people figure out what they may be doing wrong, why their relationship is falling apart, and what they can do to get it back on track. And I wanted to share those findings with you, as well as my own thoughts on the kinds of issues and the kinds of things that needed to be rectified, and what couples should focus on if they want their relationships to be happy ones for a long, long time. Remember, as you listen to this, you'll hear me shout out a phone number. That was my phone number back in 2010. It is no longer the phone number to call me, so do not call that phone number. Do not call the number that you will hear on this video. This video is from 2010. It's 2019 now, so we don't know who has that number, but I do hope that you enjoy the information that's presented here. And if you have any questions or comments, just post them below, and I hope you enjoy this listen. Deb Cooper signing out.
I want to discuss a very, very important topic, which is compatibility tonight. I think a lot of people don't really know what that means, what they're supposed to be looking for in regard to discovering if a mate is truly compatible with them or not. We have a lot of people that focus on things like what I call hobbies and interests and entertainment activities, such as, we like the same movies, we both like the Giants, we both like bowling, we both like long walks on the beach, the typical things that you find in an online personals ad, and people get really excited about those things. There's a lot of focus as well on physical appearance, what someone looks like, their sexual attractiveness. All those things are great, and I'm sure they add a lot of fun to your relationship. And if you're attracted to your partner, which of course you want to be, that would add some excitement there as well. However, is that really enough? Is that what's going to contribute to making your relationship a successful long-term partnership? Now, I address singles on this show. That's primarily what I talk about. And our focus is on trying to get people to understand where they're going wrong, the choices that they've made in the past, how they may be shooting themselves in the foot, and to provide options for changes in behavior, modifications, things to think about that maybe, people haven't really thought about before. That is going to be the general focus of this show, because I have some very, very firm ideas about what personality traits, I'm going to call it that, what the personality traits that we need to have in common with our partners. Otherwise, it's never going to work. Now, I have to admit, a proponent of the, what do I call it? I firmly believe that you do not have to have every single thing in common with your mate. Some people are opposed to that. They're focusing on that, opposites attract. You like you attract who you are type of thing. I don't agree with that. I don't think we attract who we are, and it's not necessarily opposites either. We attract people that have what we need. It's that simple. So a person who is very stuck in their ways, very mental, very logical, is likely to attract a partner that is the opposite of that, very emotional, spontaneous, giggly and fun, primarily because that is the balance that is required by both parties. You see what I mean? It's not necessarily an opposite because they're not necessarily opposite, but they balance each other out. Each brings to the relationship, to the partnership, attitudes and behaviors that the other does not possess. So it makes for a much more balanced situation. I think that's what really happens in relationships. Of course, some people just go totally off kilter and go off into the moon. I don't know what they're doing, but we'll be talking about them too. So what I would like to have are some comments from you listeners. I'm very interested in knowing what it is that you feel are things that people should look for. I would like to hear from you. The number is 347-327-9215. What we're looking for are areas of compatibility that you feel are important to have in a relationship if you want it to go long term. What are your thoughts? I'll be sharing mine as we move along. That's 347-327-9215. Interestingly enough, while I was researching for this show, I interviewed people that had been married for a minimum of 7. That was the least amount of time that a couple had been married, to people married 35 and even 50 years. And I asked them the same question that I'm posing to you. Now, like I said, I know we deal with singles here, but most of the singles that come to this show are looking to get married someday. They're looking for someone to love them, and to form a long-term partnership in which they can eventually marry, have children, this whole thing. So by me going out and asking successfully married couples, not just married, but I mean happy, still in love with each other, the high levels of respect, they have a great relationship. And I asked, let's see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm looking, hold on a second. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 15 couples, 15 people. Not a lot, but, it's kind of hard to find people married that long, to tell you the truth. But I got a lot of really interesting information from them. And let me just share with you what each one of them said. I asked them to tell me their top 3 things that they felt were important. On just about every list is communication. They felt that a lack of communication, which includes being open, being honest, full disclosure, not just partial disclosure because you don't want to get into a fight and all this kind of stuff, and that you communicate to your partner with respect, i.e., no name calling, put downs, negative snide remarks, jokes at your partner's expense, all that kind of thing. All of those fall under the communication umbrella. So, I felt like that was very, very important because those negative communication styles, I've observed those myself. And it's very hard for people to feel respected and valued in a relationship where their partner is constantly putting them down. And, you're dating someone who makes these little snide, underhanded remarks. And then if you get upset, they tell you, well, I was just kidding. Or they're critical. Well, I was just telling you that for your own good. You're not perfect. You can't grow. You can't change. Okay, please explain to me what you think those comments are going to do for your relationship that's in a positive sense. Please, somebody, tell me, because I don't get it. I don't see it. I don't understand it. So communication topped the chart with these couples. The second thing that I came in is spending time together or / wanting to be with the person. You want to be together. They're like a friend. They're someone whose company and companionship you enjoy. That was also very important. I mean, I probably wouldn't have put it quite that way, But, they each had reasons why. So if you don't like to really be around that person that much, or you have such discord in things of entertainment, things you enjoy, your basic personalities, it's not going to work because you don't really enjoy being around each other. You might come together for obligatory responsibilities like managing your household, paying bills, having sex, but it's like other than that, you don't really seek out your partner's companionship. And I thought, wow, that's really something. That's something to consider. But anyway, I would like to hear from you guys. What do you think are some of the important things that you focused on? What kind of things have you thought were important in your past while you were looking for a mate? What did you focus on? I'm curious. Please give me a call, 347-327-9215, and let me know the kinds of things that you felt were important to have in a relationship and to have in common with your mate. That's the question on the floor tonight for listeners. As I move on through this, friendship. Now, what does that mean? Because I hear a lot of husbands say, and boyfriends, that their girlfriend and or wife is their best friend. And most women don't say that. They have, they have a girlfriend that's their best friend. But men tend to have, their best friend be their woman. What might that do to the relationship? Is that a good thing in your opinion, or is that kind of a risky thing for her because it puts so much pressure on her to be his everything? What do you think? I have my thoughts, but I'll touch on that a little bit later in the show. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that male, having his wife or girlfriend be his best friend. Now, this one couple, this one lady, they have been married 56 years. Can you believe that? Can you imagine looking at the same face for 56 years? I don't even know if I want to see my own face for 56 years. But, whatever. Anyway, she says this to me. I wrote this down. I can't say we've ever had a fight where we cussed or disrespected each other. We've never said anything to each other that we would be sorry for later. And I think that is probably a key to success in a relationship because, I was talking to, what's his name, Captain Solo about this. We were talking about this thing. And he was like, well, what about that thing where, they say, the jury shall disregard that statement. Now, we had a good laugh about it, but the bottom line is the jury's not going to disregard that statement. And just like when you're in a relationship, you say some old jacked up stuff to your wife or to your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, please don't think they're going to ever forget it. They're not. Those are kind of wounds just cut really deeply, more so than if some complete stranger came up to them and said those insulting things. Because they trust you. They're open to you. They love you. So you have the power to bring them to the highest heights and the lowest low by what you say and do. So it's very important, I think, that people understand the power that words have in a relationship and use them for good, not evil. And saying these nasty, mean things and then say, oh, well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Yes, you did. Otherwise, you wouldn't have said it. And don't think that your partner's so stupid that he or she doesn't know that. So really, if you have that much trouble keeping control of your lips and the words that you say to people, when some disagreement happens, you need to hit the door. Go in your car, take a drive, go out to the woods, cuss and scream, act a fool, whatever you need to do. Then you go back home and you talk to your partner like you have some sense. But all this blowing up, cussing at people, calling them all kind of names except for a child of God and all this stuff, and you think that's going to create warmth and intimacy in your relationship. No, it's not. You need to rein in your lips and watch what you say. There's no taking those words back once they're spoken. That's just it. They're out there and you can never take them back. So everybody's all quiet, huh? So 347-327-9215 is the number I was looking for to see what you felt were some important values to share with your mate. Because we all have some things that we, would like to see us have in common. Another one that came up was religion. People felt like you should have the same faith system. I'm kind of on the fence on that one. I'm not sure how they meant that, if they meant, the exact same religion, or if they just meant a belief in the same creator. I didn't really get to get that deeply into it. And I would say that because, there are many different branches of Christian religion. There's many different branches of Christian religion. So, is it good enough that one believes in God and Jesus, or do they have to be the exact same religion that you are? That was kind of up in the air for me. I've seen those relationships work, though, very, very well. People of mixed faiths. I think the key to that kind of success is that the partners respect each other's individual choices. There's no putting down. There's no denigrating comments. There's no, making like, well, my religion is better than yours. There's none of that. There is mutual and solid respect for each other's belief system, so that these people both feel free to to follow their religious beliefs and still come together and love each other. And I think that's ideal. I'm just like, wow, that's just great. To me, that shows a remarkable amount of maturity. So those are some of the things: spending time together, love each other, communication, friendship. Let me see what else is over here. No cussing. Oh, here's another one. This one woman said it's very important that you not talk about your mate behind their back. No gossiping with your friends, or talking down, putting down your mate, joking about your mate to your friends or family. So basically, it's what the brothers call, keeping folks out of my business. You don't want no folks to know my business. That's probably a very important one as well. The couple should respect each other's, respect the fact that the privacy of their relationship. Everyone does not need to know your business. I mean, if you're getting your butt kicked, or, money's showing up missing, and there's, some drugs or abuse or something involved, well, then, yeah, you talk and you sing like a canary. You tell everything. Because if anything happens to you, then, someone needs to know what's going on. But just in general, about what you're fighting about, what your man bought you, some freaky stuff y'all did in bed, all that stuff. No one needs to know those things but you. You invite danger into your household if you start mouthing off too much about what's the private business between you and your mate, whether you're male or female. Because I know some guys joke about stuff too, and that's just not cool, because you cause other people to be all curious, and then the next thing you know, they're going to be trying to, slide in and take your place, and then you be looking all crazy and upset. But the bottom line is you started that mess by opening your big old mouth, so you need to just shut up. Keep your business in your relationship, your business. No one needs to know it but you. So that's very important. Now I'm looking over, let's see, values, conflict, don't want to be in sternness, same faith. Man. Okay. Yeah, same faith came up a lot. I think this is an important one too. Work ethic. If one partner is a very ambitious, go-getter type, and the other is a, lounge around, I have my, $8.95 an hour job, and I'm going to just work this until the day I die, there's a major disconnect there in personalities and style of living, and that's sure going to cause a problem sooner or later, I would imagine. So no one has a comment, huh? So let's go a little deeper. Those are the issues that I said, those responses rather that I got from couples that have been married a minimum of 7 and as long as 56 years. So I think they had, some really good insight into what makes a couple compatible and able to maintain a relationship filled with love over 4, 5, 6 decades. That's very important. But I want to go a little bit deeper and discuss personality traits, because people look for what I call superficial traits. They're going by what the person looks like, what they drive. Are we equally yoked, whatever the hell that means? Do we have a similar, do we enjoy similar things like plays and the same kind of music? And, we both like going to Jamaica, and we both like bowling. People focus on those kind of things, the same kind of movies. Those are entertainment things That might be important if you're trying to establish a friendship, but those are not standards upon which one should attempt to construct a long-term relationship or a marriage. That is silly, very immature. Admittedly, I'm sure a lot of these things that I'm going to discuss would change as we get older. Because it's certainly what we're looking for in a boyfriend or a girlfriend at 16, 19, 21. It's going to be a lot different than we might be looking for in someone, 35, 40 years old. We're going to look for something a lot different as far as what we need to feel satisfied and happy in a relationship. We know more about ourselves. We've been, around the block a few times, had our head bumped, our heart broken. We've learned things. We've been exposed to things. So we come at relationships from a totally different place than we do when we're a teenager. And that's to be expected. So I'm going to be addressing the things, not things that really, really young people might focus on, but I'm going after the more mature market. And I'm going to discuss some personality traits, things that are pretty much, as scientists say, are formed in childhood. Who you are as a person, how you perceive the world, and how you perceive yourself are things that are pretty much formed by the time you get 10 years old. So most people do not change after that. So if you see someone that, you meet this person and they have a completely different outlook on life, they're pessimistic and you're optimistic, that pessimism is never going to change, people. That's it. That person's going to always be a dour, negative seeing, the glass is half empty type of person. Can you live with that? If the answer is no, that is someone that you are incompatible with. You should not get with that person, and you should not expect them to change to be anything that you want them to be. Well, hello, everyone in the chat room. I'm not sure where my co-host is, but so you see I'm not in the chat room too much. I have a hard time staying on topic and dealing with the chat room at the same time. So I will try though, okay? I'll keep the screen up, and if you have a question or something, just type it in there. Preferably though, you would call. The number is 347-327-9215, and I will be happy to pick up your call. Then you can, help me discuss this issue of compatibility in relationships. I think, I announced this on the show last week, that as we move through the rest of the year, I do want to focus on these basic, what I call elementary foundational issues about partnership selection. I want to get all this stuff out of the way so as we move into 2011, we can build on it and focus more on like, okay, well, this is what I have now. What do I do with it? How do I sustain the relationship that I have? Right now, we're covering how to get a relationship or find a suitable partner and discern who of the people that you meet is suitable. Those are the foundational issues that I'm talking about. And these are the types of topics that I'm going to be talking about over the coming months, all through December. Foundational issues so you guys can get really clear on how to meet someone, and when you meet them, how to weed them in or out, questions to ask, things to notice, personality traits to assess, behaviors to assess, and to get you to focus on the serious stuff, not knuckleheaded, silly stuff. So you can't build a relationship on silly stuff. I mean, I guess you can, but it'll blow up in your face because it's not built on anything solid. Nothing, there's no structure to it, no depth. And that is what I would imagine, most people in their 30s and 40s are actually looking for, even some people in their 20s. They're very mature. They're not looking to just flip-flop around with this one, that one, this one, that one. They want to find a partner that they can grow and into a mature person and create a life with. So that's what I'm going to try to direct you to do. And, to do that, though, I need your questions. I need your comments. And you probably will have a question that other people are wondering or just too afraid to ask. So never be shy about calling here, okay? If you don't know, if you're afraid to call, then go on and just type it out, and we'll get, your question answered on the air. So let's see. Someone says, I have a question. What's up with some of our young men who walk off and leave their women behind? Being a middle-aged man myself, I could not imagine just walking off, leaving lady in the car are walking far ahead of her? That is an excellent question. And I've noticed that myself. I went on a date with a guy who did that, and I stopped and made a U-turn. And I was just like, wow. I would, as a woman, I'm going to tell you what I see that as. Total disrespect. If you are with someone on a date, or that's your man, that's your woman, and you don't walk with them, you're walking up, stomping off ahead, like, or, leaving them in the car to get out by themselves while you just march on by yourself. That's total disrespect. Any woman who accepts that kind of behavior from a man is, there's some problems with you, girlfriend. You have some problems. Either you don't know that you're being disrespected, which, in case we give you somewhat of a pass because you need to educate yourself in proper male behavior, or you are accepting disrespect because you think that's something you need to do. The bottom line is, if a man does something like that to you, you may have to walk to wherever you're going, like you go into the car, you're going to wherever. You should not go out with that man again, ever, because that's someone who does not care about you. And it may be just you, it may be women in general. I don't know the answer to that question, but I do know that that is someone who is just very ill-mannered, disrespectful, and who does not deserve the pleasure of your company. You need to have that kind of respect for yourself, and then you will get it from other people. That's my take on that particular question, and I thank you for asking it. That was a very good one. So, listeners, if you have a question you'd like to ask on the phone about compatibility in relationships, like what kind of things have you been looking for? That table's out on that question rather is out on the table. What are the things that you focus on when you meet someone? What are you looking for them to have in common with you? I would be very interested in hearing that. Now, Covina Man says in the chat room that he likes someone to have fun with, similar interest in fun and recreational activities. Okay, that falls under what I'm calling the umbrella of friendship. You want someone who to be a friend with you, and that makes it nice because you get to have fun. You enjoy some of the same activities, like if you both are into snorkeling, you can snorkel together. You both into golf, you can golf together, and you're both into hiking or skiing or whatever. That's an activity that you can enjoy together. There's nothing wrong with that, and that does create a lot of fun in a relationship for a couple. But is that the main thing you should be looking for? I don't think so. But let's talk about this. I want to propose that one of the top things that we need to look for is a mutual interest in, well, I don't want to say interest in, a mutual need for companionship. Now, let me explain that a little bit. You've seen those couples where one is always wanting to be with the other, and the other one is kind of like running away to be by him or herself, to do more solitary activities. That's a couple that may be, out of sync. They're not quite compatible on that particular issue. I'm not saying you have to be like Siamese twins joined at the hips. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, if you have vastly different needs for companionship, one of the couple is going to always feel suffocated. The other one is going to feel like they are alone. And why am I in a relationship and no one's ever with me? You don't ever want to spend time with me. And I think a lot of guys get confused about that, and they think, she's just trying to suffocate me. People get into a relationship, most people, to have a companion, someone that they enjoy being around. And if you don't enjoy being around that person, why are you calling yourself in a relationship with them? So this is kind of an important thing, and I think a lot of people try to, because they like the person, or the person's hot, or handsome, beautiful, whatever, they want to stick around and try to, quote, make it work. And so they beg for attention. They're constantly frustrated because they're not getting it. They, try to set up dates if the other person, is not really interested in doing those things with them. It creates a very, very frustrating environment. So if you two are not on the same page with your need for companionship, either daily or, at least like a balance over a week, where you just sit down and you talk to each other. You might read on opposite ends of the couch and, just kind of rub feet or sit by the fire. You're just comfortable chatting. You're both reading, whatever. But there's some companionable activity taking place. Most people need that. And but if you have out of balance and one partner doesn't, you might want to rethink that relationship, because that's going to be a major conflict as you move forward. Now, another thing that we need to consider is the intensity of emotion. That is key. What do you do if one person is very effusive and, romantic and has no trouble talking about how they feel, and, they just love you so much. You're just so wonderful. I just feel so happy. I'm just so lucky I found you. This kind of thing. Where the other person might give a card once a year that says, yeah, I'm kind of, you're all right, you're all right. And that's all you get? Is that it? Are you kidding me? That's all you got. So, there has to be some balance there, as we refer back to the first thing I was saying. Otherwise, one person's going to feel unloved, unwanted, uncared for, ignored, very negative things that would lead a couple to break up or divorce if they were married. No matter how much you might love a person, you've got to have most of these things I'm going to relate to you, that you have to have them in common. You cannot just try to create a relationship with someone that is going to be smooth and wonderful if you don't. And people say, well, relationships are work. You have to work at it every day. That's bullshit. You do not have to work in a relationship every day. It should be fun and it should be easy. Now, what you have to do is pay attention to each other every day. But if you're feeling like your relationship is work, then you're in the wrong relationship. That's not right. That's not how it's supposed to be. You are supposed to be compatible, just like I'm saying, so that being with that person is relatively easy. You might have some conflict, here and there about, some little silly stuff. But I'm talking major fights all the time, people that are fighting about stuff all the time. Those are incompatible partners. They do not belong together. As much as hard as it is for people to understand that, you just don't. Now, let's talk about the sex part. That should be pretty self-explanatory. But I'm talking more about your sex drive, your interest. If you have a partner that is very into sex and the other one is just tolerating it for whatever reason, you need to look at that. Now, this may be that they like sex, but they just don't like it with you, or there could be some emotional trauma, physical trauma, a rape, child molestation, whatever, that causes that person to be somewhat afraid of sexual intimacy. There's a lot of that around here. We got to throw that out there. Or there could be that the person doesn't really like having sex with you because your sexual styles are so different. Maybe one person is very experimental and the other one prefers, tried and true, pretty standard stuff to get the job done. And, or as one person maybe, likes in the morning and one in the evening, or, those kind of little things can be worked out. But if you have someone who's into rough, violent, freaky stuff and you really aren't into that kind of thing, or they want it every day, 2 or 3 times a day, and you're pretty cool with twice a week, well, there may be some serious conflicts there that you need to reconsider the relationship. Most women do not want to hear this. This stuff that I'm saying, they don't want to hear it. But ladies, you've got to be more realistic about the relationships that you enter into. I say all the time that women choose men. So if you're with a man that is not meeting your needs physically or emotionally, get rid of him. That he's not the only man in the world. That means you two are not compatible. And it's just not going to work. It's never going to work. And, there's always a lot of frustration and they're breaking up, making up, all the stuff. That's not how a relationship's supposed to go. So we covered that, the libido, shall we call it. Now let's talk about what do I want to say? Oh, spontaneity. That is a personality trait. That if you can be spontaneous and your partner is not, what problems might that cause long term? A lot. Now, you're the kind that likes to jump up with an idea and say, ooh, let's do this. Let's go there. You need someone who's at least halfway on that page. If you have a partner who's not comfortable with being spontaneous, and he or she always wants to know far in advance what's going to happen, where they're going to go, what time are you going to get back, well, what time does it open, how much does it cost, how long is it going to take us to get there, well, is it going to be traffic, okay, you know what, oh, you just doing too much. I mean, I'm not the most spontaneous person in the world, but I do have that, a little bit in me where I'll be like, okay, if I have some appointments or something, I'll call and cancel and like, let's go. But I'm not going to do that all the time. But, I am flexible enough to do it sometimes. But I have some friends that would never do it anytime. They have to know, they have to have a plan for everything. No single mama drama. Just stop talking about me to my face. Sorry, girl. I didn't know. But this is a key thing. I've seen this break up many couples because the one that's spontaneous usually becomes resentful of the one that wants to know plan and feels like that person is trying to control them. That causes a lot of resentment and anger and frustration because the spontaneous person never gets to be spontaneous. That's their personality trait. That is life the way that they like to live it. So if you want to be with somebody who's spontaneous, either you have to adjust, put some of your planning need in the closet at least sometimes, and just go with it. Just go with it. It's not going to kill you to be spontaneous. It might not be your preferred method of doing things, but it's not going to hurt you. And that, I think, is the key thing that the planner people need to understand. Just go with it sometimes. It's something that's fun. You might actually surprise yourself and enjoy it. Likewise, the ones that are always spontaneous and never plan any damn thing, well, people get sick of you too. Because sometimes people want, a woman would want to know that she's going somewhere so she can get the appropriate outfit. Get her hair and nails done. Get a babysitter if she needs one. So you can't just always come in the door with these brilliant ideas and think everybody's going to be excited. You have to work with your partner and respect the things that they need to do to feel comfortable on a date or an outing with you. So those are very important issues. So the spontaneity issue is one that you really need to consider. And these are all things for those of you just coming in. What I'm outlining now are some personality traits that I think it is very important for people to focus on while they're going through the dating process. Yeah, it's great that they got a hot body, she got a fat ass, he got bling, he got a nice car, he's handsome, he got dimples, blah, 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 blah. That's all cute. But that does not make a solid foundation for you to establish a relationship with. That is just something to do for fun. If you want to have a relationship, you need to look deeper and you need to focus on very, very important issues such as personality traits that I'm outlining today, this evening. Now let's look at people that are idealistic. I had a letter come in from this guy that was saying that his woman was just so idealistic and she always would see the best in everything, and she never could see the bad, and she was always, she was, quote, too happy, he says. She was too happy. How can you have a person be too happy? What the hell was that? I didn't understand that. But he felt like, she always would see everything in her world was sunny and bright, and she never wanted to address any negativity. And that got on his nerves to the point where he started really talking about her, hurting her feelings, and they eventually broke up. So I, was talking to him. This is a friend of mine. I'm like, dude, I mean, why would you want some old dour, sour, pouty woman like you? You are just a moody butthole, and you get on my nerves. So I know you was getting on her nerves. But, if you're attracting someone who's more positive and bubbly and positive about the world and the people in it, and, excited about the possibilities of things, and here you are always shooting holes in everything. You just a negative old fool. And, he just sat there looking at me. But it's like, I thought he did really well. She kind of balanced him out, like I said. People need a balance. We will tend to attract people to us that balance us out, whether we are the positive or the negative of any different issue. We will attract people to us to kind of bring us to the middle. That I've seen that over and over and over again. But yeah, in this case, he actually told me, oh, she was too happy. I didn't get that. I still don't get it. That was months ago when that happened, and I still don't get it. So anyway, I'm looking for some comments from listeners. If you have some thoughts on some of the things that you think are important for couples to focus on in their search for a compatible partner, what are the things that are important in your mind? And with personality traits, I have about a dozen, maybe 13, 14, I'm not sure, I didn't really count them, things here on my list. And I just wanted to see what you had to say about that. So let's see, we talked about spontaneity. Now we talked about the idealistic, positive person. We discussed emotional intensity. Some people just want an open-handed relationship where the relationship is light. You kind of come and go. There's no real heavy exchange of emotions. Any kind of, you trying to have an emotional, a conversation with them rather that explores emotions and things in depth. They're not trying to hear all that. They don't want to be bothered. They just want the relationship to be mainly fun and light and something that they don't really have to think about too much and they don't have to stress over. Those are the kind of relationship they want. Now, that's pretty sufficient when you're, 16. But at 40, can you still have a relationship that's light and fun and free? No, fool. So you need to, get real and grow up. The reality is at that stage of life is more serious. People have important issues. Like some people, maybe they're the youngest in their family. Now their parents are, in their 70s and they're looking at what am I going to do? Are they going to have to go into a home? Are they going to come live with me? I mean, there are a lot of things that people have to start considering that take that lightness out of their lives as they mature. That's kind of an unrealistic expectation. So like I said, when you're young, sure, light, fun, easy, no heavy drama, no heavy conversation, no words of love spoken, just like, oh yeah, I like you, this and that. That's about as heavy as it gets. And if you're with that kind of person but you want some person who stares you in your eyes and is able to tell you why they love you, they're able to do it frequently. They share their feelings with you about a wide variety of things. They let you know when they're angry, when they're happy, when they're upset, when they're happy, frustrated. That is a person who is open emotionally and willing to share that side of themselves with you. If you want that, and that was what the kind of relationship that you feel is going to make you feel loved and warm and like you're in a true partnership, you have every right to have it. Just understand that if you have a person, like I said, that only wants that lightness, you're with the wrong person. It's never going to work. Never. Now let's talk about the nurturing part. That's the important thing. For women, I don't really call male energy nurturing, but it's more like supportive. He's encouraging. He's supportive of you. He's like believes in your dreams. He asks you what he can do to help. And the same for guys. You know, she's right there. She's your cheerleader. She's all in your corner. She got your back. To me, that is what might fall under the umbrella of nurturing. And I think even when somebody's in a relationship and they don't have that, they eventually want it. They realize that this person is incapable of providing it. The relationship breaks up. You know, how are you going to be in a partnership with someone who does not have your back and who's not there for you, who's not in your corner, who's not trying to help you become a better, faster, stronger version of yourself? Why would you want to be in a relationship with somebody like that? What's the point? You can be by yourself. So I believe that is a contributing factor to many breakups, because as people, you know, the person that you are at 20, 21, 25, even 30, it may not be the exact same person you are at 45. You have different dreams now. You have different things you want to achieve with your final. You know, people start thinking, ooh, shoot, my life is probably at least half over. I need to, like, you know, get this buckled down. I need to make some serious changes here. And I think that, you know, you start looking for different things from your partner, and that support system as you try to grow and change and become the person that you've always dreamed that you could be is key. That's key to your happiness and your satisfaction with your life and with your relationship. So if you don't have that, and you have someone who, you know, is mean to you and puts down your ideas and pokes holes and makes fun of your goals and dreams for yourself, that is going to make you feel extremely unhappy with your partner and with your relationship. So again, this is something not to ignore, people. This is extremely important. I think a lot of people, as they go through these relationships, focus a lot on, well, you know, it's exciting, it's fun, the sex is good, you know, I really like this person. But it's like, what is it that you're liking? Why? Why are you liking someone who is not there for you? Why would you want to be with someone who can't tell you how they feel about you? Why would you want to be with someone who would rather be with other people than with you? That's not, you see what I mean? There are a lot of things I think people don't really understand the dynamics of certain behaviors and what it means in the context of a relationship. They'll want to fight about it. You know, oh, you need to spend more time with me. You don't spend enough time with me and your family. Okay, but you know what? You knew he was like that when you got with him. He was never the kind that want to be all up in your face. If you want a man to be all up in your face, you shouldn't have got with dude, because he ain't that person. And that's what I'm saying. I think a lot of women don't really pay proper attention to things of that nature, and then they find themselves in relationships where they're emotionally, just feel like they're like on an emotional desert island by themselves, and they're looking at that man with the evil eye. And, you know, next thing you know, they marching down to see a divorce attorney and saying, you know, I can't stand him because he's, you know, he's not what kind of man. I never thought my marriage would be like this. I don't understand why he thinks I should stay in this relationship, blah, blah, blah. When you had every sign in the world, when you went into it, that that's the man that he was. He has not changed. He was that way when you got with him. So that is extremely, I think, important. Now, let's address this, the desire for material objects. You know how they have those couples that keep up with the Joneses? Oh my God. If you two are on the same page there, you will be happy with working with each other, being together as you try to, you know, struggle to keep up with the Joneses. You both want to dress in the latest, you know, fashionable attire. You both want to have the latest bling. You both want to have you know, you want to have the biggest big screen TV in the neighborhood. You both want to have this new car. I mean, as long as a couple is on the same page with that kind of stuff, you'll be fine. The problem comes in when one person is very into the material aspect of their existence and the other one is not. So you have one person who wants to dress up and have, you know, fancy purses, and the other person just wants to wear some jeans or Dockers and a ratty, you know, little eyes-eye shirt or something. Then you have one person who wants to, you know, have designer evening attire to go out to dinner, and the other person just wants to put on some slacks on a turtleneck. So you see what I mean? There has to be, you have to be similar in that. Otherwise, there'll be a lot of anger and frustration because you spend too much money. You running up all these bills. Why you feel like you got to always be like everybody else. You have to dress just like everybody. You have to be like everybody else. There's going to be a lot of frustration there that will not work for your relationship long term. So any questions? Anyone have any thoughts? I guess I should look in the chat room, huh? Because you guys may have some comments here too. Excuse me. Some comments here, and let me go through and check this out and see what you guys have said. Okay. No Single Mama Drama says she has a tendency to be attracted to the emotionally distant people. Well, that is something to pay attention to. What is it about that type that you find attractive? And if that's not working for you, you have the power to change it. I think sometimes women like a challenge in that respect. They like to feel like they, have to earn this person's attention, like if they'll win some kind of battle if they get this guy's attention. I don't know, maybe I'm lazy. Okay, not you, just people, okay. I'm thinking that, those women that do that, they just like a challenge. They like to feel like they've earned this man's attention that they want. I, however, am just lazy in that respect. I don't want to work to get your attention. I want you to give it to me. I will give you mine. And the energy that we exert will be towards building something together. I'm not going to be chasing you down. I'm not going to be trying to find you. I'm not going to be doing anything like that. I'm just not going to do it. So a man has to come to me, and I think most women really should get their minds wrapped around this concept. If you have to work to get a man's attention, if you have to stand on your head and jump through hoops and do all kind of fancy dances and all kind of stuff to get his attention, you're going to have to keep doing those things to keep his attention. Think about that. Okay? That's a lot of work to do for 30 or 40 years. That should even be what you need to be thinking about doing. And, guys that come in that are, demanding that a woman be all these different things and change herself to suit them, you need to just give him the sucker thump and keep it moving. That's not what you need to do with your time. So we talk about that. Now let's talk about this being an introvert or extrovert. That is very important too. I have some friends that are like that. Now his wife is extremely social. She's all over the place. She always on the go. She want to rip and run and do all this stuff. Dude wants to chill at home. He wants to be with his wife and he be with his child, and he wants to stay at home. He enjoys being at home, and he just wants to, them to spend time together there. He doesn't want to rip and run and be in the streets. He doesn't like club, and he doesn't like a whole bunch of people. He don't like parties, and he just really not, he's content to be at home or with a small group of family members, not, any big crowds and scenes. His wife, on the other hand, wants to just go constantly. So the conflict comes in there when she starts bugging him to get, to come with her. That's when they fight. He doesn't try to keep her from going, but when she tries to make him go is when they fight, because he doesn't want to go. But he doesn't try to keep her from going. He accepts her, her desire to rip and run the streets as, that's just who she is. And, but, at this point, they're, kind of having some drama. She's constantly putting pressure on him or inviting people to the house and, basically ruining his private time and his experience of enjoying his home in solitude. So they're fighting. So I don't know. That's gonna be a problem. I think she doesn't really understand what's going on. Now let's talk about the people who, let's see, what's the word I might want to use? Kind of like intellectualism perhaps would be a good word. I know you've all met couples that seem to be vastly on different pages with regards to how they think, the things that they discuss, the things that they think are important. Perhaps one is an avid reader of pretty much everything. Always has something interesting to talk about. Reads, keeps up on current events, knows what's going on in the world of politics, music, art, what sports, whatever. This one person is very up on things and very into using his or her mind to analyze and remember facts and data. The other partner just wants to sit there and watch television. Please explain to me how that's going to work. It's like there are such different pages mentally and intellectually that it's just never going to work. One is like a bump on a log, and the other one is a very exciting, dynamic, mentally stimulating individual. They have nothing. They're out of sync on that particular issue, and that could be very, very problematic if they're moving in different social circles. Now, let me explain that. Though you might meet someone and really love that person, you might even be the same religion like some folks like to focus on. You might be the right age. You might be, someone who's physically attracted to them. You could have all of those things in common. But now one person, the more intellectual one, moves in a social circle or has the kind of job that requires him or her to interact with people that are similar to them. These are, more brainy, intellectual people. So here they go bringing their spouse who doesn't know anything except for what happened on Housewives of Atlanta or some old crazy, silly stuff. And they have nothing to talk about. So that is going to be an embarrassment to the more intellectual partner. It's going to make the less intellectual partner look like a fool. And it just creates a very uncomfortable situation. Those are two people that are not compatible. Now, this is a situation where if the less intellectual partner chose to, they could certainly pick up a book and read and start learning some things. But we're talking about general nature. Their general personality style is not one of being very interested in books and learning. This is someone who just likes to sit around and watch television, maybe talk on the phone, go to some, silly movie, something like that. There's not a lot going on upstairs with this particular individual. So if you have a question, you have a comment you'd like to make on the air about compatibility, maybe something you're trying to figure out if you really are compatible with the person that you're seeing, maybe can help you sort that out. Give me a call. 347-327-9215 is the number. Press 1 on your keypad, and I will be happy to take your call live on the air. That's 347-327-9215. Okay, let me see. Introverts and extroverts, and we talked about that. Let me flip through my notes here. And we talked about companionship. How do you guys feel about people that you feel like you have to kind of pull information out of? How does that work for you? I don't like that. I want someone who just tell me stuff. I also don't like those kind of people that want to tell you the edited version of what they think and feel or what they've done. That to me is wrong, because what it does is it sets you up to be your reality to be manipulated by this person. They monitor and edit the whole truth and nothing but the truth, and just tell you the part they think that you should hear, so that they maintain the upper hand and basically manipulate your behavior to be the way that they want it. That's foul and funky. Okay, caller 646, what's your question or comment?
Well, my comment is, I don't like being with someone who is bossy. They feel like they have to always tell you what to do.
Mm-hmm.
They're not really a good listener. If you come home from work or something and you share with them some conflict or something you have at work. And rather than just listening, they think every time you talk to them, you're seeking advice from them. And then they start giving you advice as if you don't know anything. And sometimes you just need a good ear. So I think that might be something that's very important in a relationship, you know, being with someone that can listen and also and respect that you as a person know what you're doing and not always feel like they have to tell you what to do, how to think, how to behave. You know, women do it too, but since I'm a woman, I'm talking about men. I've gone out with a couple of guys, and we'll be talking and everything, and then they'll just start, I'll share a scenario or something that happened, and then, they'll start sharing their unasked for advice. And I think they think that that's supposed to prove something, but to me it just proves a bit too domineering and controlling, I guess, so.
Well, sadly, what I think, guys have been socialized to feel like they are the solver of all the world's problems. So some of that is just their socialization. They think if someone comes to them with a problem, it's his responsibility to solve it. That's what they do.
Yeah.
They don't understand, though, that if you're talking to a woman, most likely she doesn't want you to solve it. If she wants you to solve it, she'll say, can you help me with this? In most instances, what she's just looking for is for you to just listen. So what you do is say, really, baby? Wow. She said that to you? That's fucked up. No, she didn't. Okay, stuff like that. You just egg her on and let her get it all out, and then, you give her a hug and a kiss and say, wow, well, thank you for sharing, or something like that. Just let her talk. That's all she's looking for.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you for calling.
All right.
Yeah, she brought up a good point, because that is exactly what happens, and women just get, guys, we understand you trying to be helpful, really. But sometimes, unless a woman asks you for help, just keep it to yourself, because what it comes across as is a criticism, especially if your quote, problem solving begins with, nah, what you should have done was, okay, see, because now you're criticizing. Now you're not helping. You're just going to make her mad. And those are kind of comments that you really need to keep to yourself, because nobody needs you to tell them what to do or to make them feel worse about the situation that they're, venting to you about. That's not helping. You're not helping. Okay? So just be quiet. Now, I need to get back to this nurturing thing, because I had a really interesting conversation with a guy, and we were talking about the male-female support system, shall we call it. And he was of the mind that a man really couldn't be a woman's cheerleader. And I was like, what? So you want me to cheer for you, and when it's your turn to pick up the pom-poms, you just going to stand there? I don't think so, home skillet. If I'm jumping up and down when you have a success, I need to see you doing the same thing for me. Otherwise, we have a bad, out of sync, unbalanced relationship, whereas only one person can be successful, only one person can get, support and nurturing and kudos, and the other one is just basically left on their own. I don't think so. That was like so not of interest to me. So it's, but the nurturing thing comes in, when, say, someone comes to you and they have a problem. Do you're a friend, a family member, a next door neighbor, something that you can do to help that person. Do you do it? Is that your natural inclination to reach out and provide support to people that come to you for help? Do you find yourself unwilling to do that? If so, you're not very nurturing. If your mate is sick, and you guys have a couple of kids, and your mate is incapable of taking care of the children by him or herself, do you call in sick, or do you call in someone to help if you can't get off work? Or do you just walk out the door and leave them there to fend for themselves? Do you enjoy volunteering your time in the community? Are you, with the Boys Club or Girl Scouts, or, do you help out at your child's school without being asked? Do you do things like that to help make the world a better place? Do you, if the neighbor is sick or someone at your church is sick, do you take a plate of food over there to them? Do you think about people like that? If so, you're a nurturing person. And you can be male or female. You don't have to be this. Don't mean to imply that these behaviors are merely female. I don't mean that at all. Some of the most supportive, nurturing people I know are men. Now, I came back to this because this is a very, very important issue, and one that I heard these guys, I was overhearing them talking, and they were saying stuff like, oh, well, women think, men want to hear their problems. We don't want to hear that shit. We don't care what's going on. And they're talking about, these dudes are talking about their wives. I was horrified. So it's like, I don't want to hear all that. Men don't want to be hearing women's problems. And they were like egging each other on and just amping up the stupidity in the conversation. And I'm sitting there and I'm wondering, how would their wives, if they heard this conversation, feel about their husbands? I'm thinking divorce would be imminent because, the stuff they were saying and the way they were saying it showed that any time this woman had a problem, he's just like, I don't feel like hearing it. He wants the life and the marriage and everything to be revolving around him and to be happy the way he wants it, with no regard for the fact that there are two people in this partnership, and it's not going to always be the way you want it, and it's not going to always be happy, and everybody ain't going to be walking with a smile like some fool every day. That's unrealistic. But if your woman has a problem, you need to sit your butt down and you need to listen to her, and if you can help, then you help. If you can't help, then you don't. But, just to blow her off and say, I don't want to hear it, how is that being nurturing and supportive? I don't understand. So I had a real problem with that, and that's why I revisited this particular personality trait, because I think a lot of women don't pay attention to these things when they're involved in a relationship. They're just so focused on getting that ring. I want to get the ring. We've been together all this time. I want to get married. Well, look at what you're marrying. He's a jerk. He's a selfish jerk. And if he's going to be unsupportive and not nurturing to you, you can bet he's going to be the same way with the child, and which leads me to kind of a segue into what's going on in the show next week, where I'm going to be talking about these kind of men that in turn turn around and abuse and even murder young children. So ladies, you really need to pay more attention to the personality of the man that you are dealing with. These flash anger dudes, the ones that don't want to hear anything, they're control freaks, all these kind of things are behavior patterns and personality traits that you need to pay attention to. Stop focusing on the fact that you just want to get married. You're marrying an idiot. That just makes no sense to me. Okay, so let's see. We talked about materialism, talked about the introvert and the extrovert. Let's see. How about what you see as romantic? Things that you enjoy incorporating into your life, like things of beauty. Now, I'm going to say why this is important. I dated this guy once, a little bit, when I was in college. And I liked certain kinds of music. I liked art. I enjoyed going to art museums. And, even sometimes like street art, they paint the side of a building and stuff like that. I had a whole collection of photographs of those that I thought these people were the most amazing artists. Their use of color and light and the ability to capture that with spray paint cans was mesmerizing to me. I would like the beauty of a sunset, the fine colors in the sky and the way they blended and the way the sun would shine on the sand, all this kind of thing. I thought that was just like, there's just nothing more beautiful than this, and I'm so happy I can see it. This was like, he looked at me like I was crazy. And like, oh, you just this old Rudy Poop music. That's what he used to refer to it as. And, so what about the sunset? What's the big deal? It's going to be doing the same thing tomorrow. You act like it's a one-in-a-lifetime experience. Well, we didn't last more than about a week and a half, because once that came out, I was like, oh, no, I'm through with this. But this is an important aspect to consider, and I don't think a lot of people really look at it because of the fact that aesthetics, what you see as beautiful, what you see as pleasing to the eye, the things that you enjoy looking at and experiencing visually and, through hearing and sense and all that kind of thing. Those are very important things because, like, say you're smelling some fresh baked bread and you're like, oh, man, that smells so good. Isn't it great to have someone that smells, that does a sniff with you and looks you in the eye and say, ooh, let's go. We need to get some of that. You see what I mean? Versus someone say, what? That just smells, that's just bread. God, you act like it's you see what I mean? And the things that you think are beautiful, like, say, certain kinds of poetry, certain kinds of music that you find moving, certain, like hearing babies laugh, all this kind of stuff, those are beautiful things. But if you're with a partner who has no appreciation for those things and even goes so far as to put you down for having them, you're with the wrong person. And I hate to keep saying that. It makes it sound like I don't want people to be in a relationship. That's not it at all. I just want you to have the ability to discern who is right for you, who really fits with you, and who's going to make you happy long term. Because like I said, relationships, all this, you need to work at it every day. That's not true. You should not have to work at a relationship every day. You do something to show appreciation and love and respect for your partner every day. But is that really work? If you see that as work, you don't need to be in a relationship. That should be joyful for you to do something to bring your partner a smile to your partner's face. That should never be considered work. Okay, caller 843, what's your question, comment?
Oh, you know who this is there, Devo. How's it going?
Oh, I knew who it was. I'm fine. How are you?
That's great. I know you didn't cook today, but anyway, I'm up season. But about your topic with compatibility, honestly, it's all about talking to those people before you have sex with them or start spending your money going out. That's where you talk, not just asking what do you think about Snooki from Jersey Shore. That's pertinent question about their views on certain things like where they want to live in 10 years as a suburb or a city person, how they feel about kids, like career goals or stuff like that. You need to find that stuff out because that stuff will make or break a relationship. Compatibility, kind of finance, travel, what type of home they want to buy, all kind of stuff that people need to pay attention to and ask those questions and find out. Because you get people that have been together for years and found they're not compatible. So how you weren't compatible? How did you find out you weren't compatible all this time? That's how you know people don't talk to each other because a lot of people are scared of the answer.
Exactly. Which I don't understand because whether you ask the question and get the answer, right away or you just wait and waste years of your life, you're still going to get the same answer. So you may as well open your mouth, be a big girl, be a big boy, ask the important questions, and get the answer so that you are dealing sooner rather than later with reality. I don't understand why people want to hide from reality. It just drives me nuts.
Yeah, and you know what? We all been with someone that just want to fit on us. Men and women, half of everybody, hey, that's life, But you don't want to pitch your good years away hoping this person will like you. There are so many other people out there that are compatible. Don't worry about the person that isn't compatible. Hey, it happens to the best of us. Just move on from that and find a person that's compatible. That's simple.
Well, that's easier said than done because some people don't have the patience to do that. They are desperate to have someone and to not be alone. A girl, actually, I was at the Elephant Bar with a girlfriend of mine. We were having drinks. This was last week. And, we chit-chatting, and one of the little waitresses comes up to us, and we talked to her about a boyfriend. She wanted to get some advice from me since I was there. So I'm telling her, listen to her little story, rather. And bottom line is she was some knucklehead. He, just dogged her out and talked to her. Oh, well, why don't you come over at midnight and all this stuff? And she's so stupid she was going. And I'm like, well, what'd you do that for? And she's like, well, I just have such a hard time being alone. And I'm like, but you are alone. That's not your man. That is not your boyfriend. He's nothing. So what are you talking about? And she just looked at me with this stunned look on her face like it had never occurred to her that just because you over there laying up with some dude, that does not mean that you have anything with him. Woo! Unbelievable.
And guess what? both scenarios, she go in the house or she's alone, she's still freaking miserable. So I rather, I feel like it's okay to be single, get yourself together, but still be open for that great guy. There she's settling. And what happened is she's wasting her time. She's wasting her energy on a guy that has no intention of being with her. Because let's be real, he ain't dogging her out because guess what? He laid it out there, and she keeps going for the bait. And,
well, he did. He dogged her first when they were a couple. But you're right. At this point,
he's still getting the perks.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So
but you're right.
that's even worse.
At this point, it's on her. Right.
And that's even worse. So my thing is, she got to understand that, hey, he doesn't care about you. There's a reason he's your ex. And that it's why I don't know how to do it because I'm not a woman. But these sisters got to understand their self-worth, get their self-respect game up. I don't know. Because I'm not going to deal with a woman. It's like perfect. I'm not going to take a woman on dates over and over again if she doesn't want me. If she doesn't want to be my lady.
Right.
She's not going to get all the perks about a commitment. Not tell ladies this. LeBron James played for Miami Heat. He wanted to go there, but he wasn't going to Miami without that contract and that commitment.
That's
Y'all
right.
just think about that.
Well, tell it, brother.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for calling.
Oh, no problem. Anytime. Take it easy.
Okay. Talk to you later. Bye. So, that he brought up some interesting points, but I think a lot of it has to do with self-esteem of women, not really having the confidence in themselves to wait on a man that will be the appropriate partner for them. A lot of fear about being alone, a lot of fear about not having someone like other people have, and things like that. Okay, so as we're nearing the, getting late into the show here, let's want to talk about expressing affection. Either you've been in a relationship where you just feel love-starved, where the only time your partner touches you is when he wants sex. A lot of women complain about that. The guy won't kiss them, he won't hug them, he doesn't really have anything nice to say unless he wants something. Likewise, guys, I think, really do, especially if they're in love, I think men appreciate stroking and hand-holding and, being petted up and rubbed on a lot more than women give them credit for. A guy is going to have a hard time asking for that because, it doesn't feel manly. But if you notice, if you do it, which of them complains? Very few. However, if you have a guy who, you're hungry for that kind of affection from him, out of bed, kissing, hugging, sitting in the lap, cuddling on the couch, walking into the kitchen while you're cooking, giving you a kiss on your neck, a little pat on the butt, something like that. Just affection, not sex. If you aren't getting that from your partner, how would you feel in the relationship? Don't you think that's kind of an important thing to be compatible about? I do. And I know I get a lot of advice letters from women that write in and say, well, he never wants to kiss, he never wants to touch me, he never touches me unless he wants sex, and he comes but he grabs, like my boobs or my butt or something, but it's not done with affection, it's done with a sexual intent. And the women just find that obnoxious, and they don't want it. They want a guy who is just going to, provide them with affection and a little romance, a little, soul-stirring passion that doesn't have to really lead anywhere. And I think that a lot of partners are out of sync on that. And really, if you're missing that, it's easy to lose touch with your partner because that kind of interaction is what keeps you feeling close to each other. That frequent, little phone calls, to say, oh, I was thinking about you, I just wanted to hear your voice. Just things like that. Those little bits of affectionate behavior and attention. If those are missing from your relationship, you two, and you need it, then you two are incompatible. Accept that and move on. That's not the person for you. Now, I keep stressing this for those who may have come in and missed this. What I'm talking about tonight are personality traits. Your personality, scientists have proven this, is set by the time you're 10 years old. Whatever way you are, that's it. You might change some of your behaviors in reference to your personality, but your personality itself is set. If you're an anxious, negative, nasty person, you're going to be that way the rest of your life. You're going to always see the downside of things. If you're a positive, happy, person that loves intimacy and other, you're going to be that way the rest of your life. So it's very interesting to me to do all these studies and see this kind of thing and see how it plays out in relationships and how people tend to match up with someone without really paying much attention to these basic personality traits. So they end up in a relationship where they're miserable. And I think one of the last things that I need to touch on is what we might call just your general attitude, your general attitude of well-being, how you are in the world. And I just touched on that a little bit, like the negativity thing. But, some people like to play the victim. Some people are like hypochondriacs. Every single thing, the illness that comes along, they have it. Some people are, what can I say? They're not very adaptive. You've met people like that. They don't really go with the flow. Change is very, very difficult for them. Let me put it that way. They're not good at making adjustments to whatever the way is that they think things should be. They're very, very stuck in their one way of thinking. They're not flexible at all. They have a really hard time seeing other people's points of view. They tend to be very stereotypical. Some of them may come across as control freaks. That kind of thing. So those are issues that, you need to pay attention to, especially if the person, gets depressed a lot or they're moody, a lot of mood swings. They complain about things all the time. They always see the negative instead of the positive in everything. They lose their temper easy. They are kind of like worriers, and they, find the negative in people. Those are the things that fall under this umbrella of, quote, well-being. I remember I dated this guy. Oh my God, he was just like a nightmare. Cause, another short day, I'd be going through him just to be real. I dated him for a couple of times and I'm like, ooh, I'm out. This dude was like, he would sit there, and, you try to get to know somebody, right? So, how was your childhood? How was this? When did you have your first date? You try to get a little idea of what makes this person the person that they are now. So you ask like historical questions. Well, this guy, when talking to him about his past, he got mad about stuff all over again. We're talking stuff that happened 20, 25 years ago. Are you kidding me? And you still mad? And, I'm talking like all this, like, like it just happened. I'm thinking, this dude needs some serious counseling. He has some mental health issues. I can't help him. I got to go. And, so, things like that, people hold on to stuff. So these are all things, ladies, men too, that you need to look at. Don't sweep this stuff under the rug. Not to say that you can't deal with it. You might decide that it's not that big of a deal, or you're a little bit like that yourself, or this person only like that on certain, times of the month, or about certain issues, or maybe even about certain people from his or her past. You might be able to really narrow it down to a specific trigger. In a case like that, maybe you can deal with these things that I've brought up tonight. But if not, these are all very, very important issues to consider as you select a partner. Because like I said, what we're doing now for these few shows, the next, 6 months or so, 5 months, however many months we have left in this year, we're going to be covering these types of partner selection and basic relationship foundational issues on this show. You'll hear a lot of information being shared with you, like I'm doing tonight, about things to look for and to consider as you move forward and try to choose a partner. I'm going to try to hit you with things that most of you have probably not thought about. That's either why you're single or why you keep picking the wrong people to be in relationships with. And these things are very, very important. So, what you might want to do is make a list and, start a notebook, because we're going to be doing a lot of these little homework assignments, and you can call it your Date Smarter notebook. And, go through them. And on this thing, you look at your own personality. This is going to require some self-analysis. And you go over the things that I mentioned. You can listen to the podcast of this show and write them down. Well, what is my level of nurturance? How much do I need and how much am I willing to provide? What is my libido all about? How often do I want sex with the person that I love? Is it more sex, or is it that I really am intimacy starved and I'm using sex to get the intimacy that I really want? The affection, the hand holding, the kissing, the rubbing, the little words that people say when they're all, spooned up and looking at TV or whatever. Is that what you really want? And you're just using sex to get it? So you got a lot of thinking to do. Consider the spontaneity aspect of the people that you involve yourself with, as your own as well as theirs. What's a good match for you? Look at the intensity of your relationships and your own emotional reactions. Do you fly off the handle? Are you a person that cries at movies? Do you, get upset easily, or does it take a lot to shake you? When you hear silly songs, like sad songs, do you cry? When you watch sad movies, do you cry? These are all things that you need to think about, and your passion levels, all that kind of thing. Okay, we got time for one call. 678, what's your question or comment?
Hey, Ms. Harvey. This is Busy Vix. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, girl?
Nothing much. Just doing my thing, listening to your show, loving it as always. I was able to catch the last 20 minutes, so I apologize if I missed anything earlier with what I'm about to say. But to make a long story short, I'm really just confused. I don't get it. It seems to be like something that we've been talking about probably, if not for centuries, and we'll continue to talk about for centuries, with the whole compatibility thing. And it seems like we just keep beating a dead horse. When it really comes down to it, men, on the whole, just seem to be incapable of giving us what we need to be considered compatible. And I don't know why we just don't accept that, work around it, keep it moving. We want men who are, on the most part, affectionate, compassionate, sensitive, this, that, and the third. But it just doesn't seem like it's going to happen, at least if you're talking about with the masses, anytime soon. So I don't see why we just continue to keep dragging this out when it's just not going to happen.
Well, I feel like this. Men will do what they need to do to get what they want. If a man can get what he wants without giving a woman those things, that's what he's going to do. So that's up to women. If you insist on having these things and you will not accept a man unless he gives them to you, then he will give them to you. Men always rise to the occasion. In every single venture in a male's life, when he is put to the challenge, this is his pride, his sense of manhood, his sense of winning. He will rise to the occasion. But if women fold, like I always like to say, like a bad poker hand and give them everything they got and they're not getting anything in return, well, I wouldn't give you anything either. What would I do that for? That's just more work for me. Mm-hmm. So that's what I see. It's a matter of a woman establishing what it is that she wants in a relationship and sticking to her guns. That's going to be another thing I'm going to be talking about, because women have a real hard time with that. Ooh-wee. Okay. We got a lot to cover the next few months. We got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Real quick. As far as, like, for example, one of my girlfriends, she's going through something with her boyfriend and whatnot. Been with her for 11 years. And now I think at this point in time, she's really starting to see that they are not really compatible, even at the most basic sense. But she can't, for some reason, she just can't accept that and keep it moving. So, I mean, like, when you have a situation like that, what's the best way to kind of shock this person to reality, to say, hey, wake up, girl, it is what it is? Because, unfortunately, as her best friend, I got to hear the brunt of this. And it hurts me, because I know it's hurting her. So what can I do to kind of wake her up?
Have her listen to this podcast. That's what I can say. She can make the list and follow exactly what I said on here, and go down, check the checklist point by point, and see for herself that her and this man do not match.
Will do. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So that's my discussion. Those are my points, listeners, on the issue of compatibility and love and relationships. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Feel free to listen to the podcast if you missed any parts, or you want to go, like I said, and go over this like a homework assignment and start preparing yourself for what's coming on the show over the next few months.